Hello, this is Jordan Knapke, and this is my presentation from my back bay battery simulation. Before I begin, I just want to say this was a very insightful and analytical thing to do. And I'll be honest, at first I was completely overwhelmed with all the different data points. And in my first few, I really didn't know what was going on. But as it went on, and I learned and I did more simulations, I really began to have fun with them as I enjoyed looking at the data and applying my knowledge into the R&D in order to get the company to be more successful and to satisfy our customers. At the beginning of the simulation, our company was very successful for a variety of reasons, and it applied mainly to the fact that our batteries were very attractive to high-end cars, warehouse equipment, and uninterruptible power systems, or UPS for short. So our product made our company very attractive, but ultimately we didn't have a lot of money to spend on R&D, and so that was a big concern. That's where we were supposed to step in and decide where to allocate our money in order to make our company most successful. Going off that, the key attributes that made our company successful. First off, is obviously a product. Our battery is what is selling to the customers, and that's making us successful. But second off, this fact that our batteries match up to the customer's desired desires for battery performance. So in this chart right here, this is actually from one of the years I was fired. This was like in year 3 or 4. So like this was early in the simulation, and it's just showing how our product, our current battery performance, is matching up to the customer desired performance in all these different industries, in the automobiles, the warehouse equipment, and the UPS. So that's why I think we were so successful, is because we were matching the desires of our customers. So I actually later on, as I got more experience with it, that's what I was trying to do. I was looking at our customers like, all right, I'm gonna put all my money into that. So our business model again, it was pretty simple. We just need to satisfy our customer preferences and the industry driving forces, and from that we would generate a good profit and net revenue. And then we were given options in a variety of areas, and I'll talk about those on the next slide. So you were given a lot of strategic options to do as a president of the company. You were allowed to change the unit price for the company, um, and then a bunch of different options where to allocate your limited money of R&D into the company, whether it be battery usage, battery discharge, process and development. There was a lot of different options. I ultimately chose to focus on process improvement, and in my successful simulations and years, that's where I found the most success because by putting my money in process improvement, I made our process more efficient, obviously, but it also made our cost to manufacture our battery lower, which was better for our net revenues and profits in the end. So my focus was there, but then I was also looking at the consumers. So whatever they preferred, whether so, like one of my simulations, they were big on battery recharge. So I would have my 3 million or 6 million in process improvement, and I would also put it into battery recharge, and I would go into that and keep putting money into that battery recharge until we got a breakthrough. And then once we got a breakthrough in that area, I would take that money out and then allocate it into process improvement, and then the other areas in which the customers were preferring to get usefulness out of their battery. So the key industry forces is what I was talking about. The industry and the customer preferences are what dictated how we perform. So we had battery, energy density, recharge cycles, recharge time, and self discharge. And then that whatever they preferred, that dictated how our company performed. If we were putting money into that areas, we generally did pretty good as a company. And those are the years in which I was successful as a president. And then the years that I wasn't really paying attention in those early simulations, those are the years I got fired because our sales would drop down and our customers weren't really looking into us. So yeah, following those trends was super important. The industry forces and customer preferences dictated how we performed as a company as the simulation went on into later years. So my performance with it all, um, as I'm gonna be analytical of myself, I'm gonna say it's pretty poor. I was fired in three of my simulations. Two of them were the first 2 years, um, or my first two simulations. The third one, I was successful. The fourth one, I got a little aggressive, and I started putting money into, or I tried to change the unit price, but I didn't really understand that that has such a big effect on net revenue and profits, which could have a bad impact. So, but then my last year was the most successful, or not my last year, my last simulation over the 10-year period was most successful. And it was most successful because, as I talked about, I kept putting as much money as I possibly could into process improvement because I wanted us to be as efficient as possible and make our cost of producing our battery as low as possible while selling it at a good rate so we could have a greater margin and a greater profit. On top of that, I followed the trends of the market and then what they preferred, and ultimately it led up to an $824.6 million profit over that 10-year span. And I'm not really sure if that's that great. I'm sure it could be a lot better. And as I'm looking at this, this was in this picture right here. This was in my last simulation, and it's just the end of it. And it's showing where our sales are by each market and each product. And for whatever reason, um, my sales by market was always better in the uninterrupted power systems. So, however, I was investing, that's what I was doing. And then it was also better in the supercapacitors. I put more and more money into that. So I don't. I think it's good, and I did well as a company, but I definitely think I could have done that better into making that more even across all my different markets and all my different products. I think this is something that's just better with trial and error as you learn more and more of how the simulation works and how your customers work and how your business works. And it was pretty cool. So yeah, what would I do differently? I kind of touched on this in the last slide, but I would like for my sales by product to be more even, and even sales by product or sales by market to be more even. This picture was from my most successful year, and even then, you can see how the how there's just a separation between our two products, even in the successful years. So I think if I would have done it again, I would have invested more evenly because I caught myself at the time like, oh, I only have 12 million to spend in R&D. Let's just put it all into this product. I think I would make it more even if I were to keep doing it so that my products would be even as well as my markets. And then I think that would, by doing that, that would allow for bigger growth as a company. And then it would offer new prospective clients and it would lead to a bigger net revenue and a bigger net profit. What I learned, let me just say, this was a very valuable experience, and I just I really appreciated taking the time to do this, even though at first I was completely overwhelmed. I learned that the main thing I learned is that the industry trends and the customer preferences dictate how a company performs. And on top of that, if a company is not listening to their consumers, they will fail. That is exactly what happened in the 3 years that I didn't um, follow them. I wasn't really following what the news was telling me, like in the upper right corner of the simulation. I was just kind of investing and messing with the different numbers. And that ultimately led me to get fired because we weren't getting the sales numbers that we needed. And then we would lose profits, etc. So I just learned that, like as a whole, markets work from what the different trends are. I guess that makes sense because the market's just acting that way. But yeah, uh, that's it, and I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you. This was a great semester.